So today something very interesting happened. I know in my previous podcasts, I usually speak on mental health and ways in which I could help you. But, you know, it's very likely that most of the time everybody needs help, and I just hit something that they call, I don't know if I pronounce it right, but either way, an existential crisis. I swear I'm not pronouncing it right, but that's the best that I can do. Existential crisis. Existential. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Just search it up. When you hit that point in your life where nothing feels meaningful, like everything is just meaningless, you're just excuse me, at a point in your life where you just don't even know why you're here. And you look at all these plans and all these dreams and these things that you want to do just so you're happy, or whatever reason it is that you want to do what you do. And it just all feels meaningless. And you start to question, why am I even here? Or why do I do the things that I even do? And to be honest, I wish I was making this podcast to try and help you around it. But I feel like I'm making this podcast to try and make it a way that these type of things happen. As much as we know what we're doing 90% of the time, there's always going to be that time where you just put everything down and you're like, what am I even doing this for? Why am I even here? And I feel like what I really want to stress is that during those times, during those points in your lives where you have that wave of emotions, where you feel very confused, where you feel very useless, or you feel like you don't belong, feel it. Let it happen. Let it happen. I feel like in that moment, usually I would try and distract myself with social media or push myself with my plans and my goals and whatever, or I'd just try and find ways to go around it. But this time I let myself feel it. I let myself go through this feeling, and I became patient with myself. I let it all out. I allowed myself to understand what is going on in my mind. I allowed myself to understand what is making me feel this way. I broke it down into tiny little pieces, and I didn't try to fix it up quickly. I just listened to myself. Most of the time, majority of the time, we're always looking for people to listen to us and understand us and be on the same page as us, but we never allow ourselves to just listen to ourselves. So I just let myself let it out. Try to understand, why am I feeling this way to begin with? What's causing everything? How is it that I feel? What happened that caused me to feel this way? When did I start feeling this way? And when I slowly started to let it out, I feel like that feeling of accepting that this is exactly what's happening to me. This is exactly what's happening right now, and that's okay. That is okay, because I don't know if it's just me, but every time I accept every single part of myself, especially my weaknesses, there's this feeling of relief. Like when I accept that this is what's happening and this is the truth, and I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed that I have no idea what I'm doing right now, especially since I'm about to enter the new year. I'm literally about to enter the new year and I have no clue what it is I'm gonna do. I mean, I have plans, I have goals, but I don't have plans or goals that feel realistic. Because I swear, if I had to tell you my plans and if I had to tell you my goals right now, you'd probably be like, girl, come on, let's but like, they're mine, so I'm not going to share them with anybody else. But, I feel like I look into the near future and I'm like, what is it that you really want to do? That one thing that you really love. And I can't even find it. I feel like at this age that I'm at, and still having no clue what it is that I really wanna truly do, it's very abnormal, it's very abnormal. But coming to terms with that and allowing myself to accept that and not brush it away and feel like, oh no, I know what I want to do. This is what I want to do, even though it's gonna change in like a week's time. But so I allowed myself. I came to acceptance with all of these many weaknesses that I have that I always seem to always brush off and look over like they didn't matter. And I feel like that's one of the reasons that really caused me to have this breakdown is the more I overlooked them, the more they just kept building up. The more I tried to ignore what was really happening inside of me, the more they just started becoming bigger and bigger until finally I could not handle them and I just exploded. And that's another thing that we are so used to doing with our emotions is that we, as much as people around us, not always, but majority of the times, depends on how you were raised, the way you grew up, our emotions or feelings were made to feel not valid. And that's another thing. But at times we tend to do that to ourselves, make our feelings and our emotions not valid to ourselves. So we push them away. We don't allow ourselves to cry, even if it's the smallest of things. We tell ourselves that this is not worth crying over. Like, suck it up. Just be mature about it. Just don't cry. Numb yourself or your emotions over it, and that's not healthy. I don't care how small the situation might seem, but if you know deep inside that you cannot handle it, allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself to go through it. Allow yourself to go through it. It is okay. It's healthy to allow yourself to cry over the smallest of things, because they might be small to everybody else, but they're hurting you. And to overlook them just means to only hurt yourself even more. So to be honest, when I started this podcast, I didn't actually think that I was gonna have any words of advice, but I just kept going and rolling with it. After this whole meltdown that I just had literally like 2 seconds ago, I don't know if you can actually hear like the tone of my voice. Yep, I just come from having this whole huge cry, but I felt like I should make a podcast right now, not like wait for tomorrow morning when I've already like gotten over everything. Like, it's like how I'm feeling right now. I wanted to make it a raw podcast and how I actually feel, so that's how I feel. And I feel like the best thing I could say for you right now is that it's okay to not be okay. And that does not, those words are usually meant for like feeling sad or whatever, but like I feel like it is okay to not be okay and not know why you're not okay. Like, it's okay to be at your lowest and still not know why you're there or how to get out of there. It's okay to be at your lowest. It's okay to be listening to this and being at your lowest. even if you're not at your lowest right now, but when you will be at your lowest, understand that it's a normal part of life and that you should not rush yourself. I feel like being patient with yourself is the best thing you can ever do for yourself. Be patient with yourself and be patient with how you feel, and just chill there. And just allow yourself to cry and nurture yourself and tell yourself that it's okay. Be that type of person that you feel like you need in your life in order for you to be okay. Because majority of the time, we tend to depend on other people to help us, depend on other people to give us the attention when we could give it to ourselves. And sometimes it might feel like it's not enough, but it's the least you could do. 2% is better than zero. So nurture yourself, give yourself the type of attention, allow yourself to feel the way that you feel. Be patient with yourself, because that's the best thing you can ever do for yourself. Don't rush to become better. I feel like once you gather up the amount of strength to say, you know what, I've been here for too long, I think it's time to get up and try again, that's when you can do it. But don't push away your emotions and say, well, yep, this is not me, I'm not allowing myself to do this, I'm just going to keep pushing and get up, and because that's not healthy. Majority of the time we rush ourselves because we feel like we don't have enough time. And yes, sometimes you might feel like we don't, but you should always make time for your mental health. You should always make time for your well-being, because believe it or not, you're helping yourself in the best way that you could ever help yourself. You're doing so much for yourself that you could ever do, that nobody could ever do for you. Nobody. Yes, it might feel like we're running out of time, but if you don't attend to yourself, you won't even have that time that you feel like that you're running out of. So be there for yourself. Allow yourself to cry. Just cry, man. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay to feel like, let it fall apart. Let it fall apart. To be honest, I romanticize falling apart. Falling apart to me is not a disadvantage or something that's bad. Falling apart for me is a good thing because it gives me an opportunity to build again. When everything falls apart, it gives me an opportunity to build again. I don't know, but every time I have a meltdown, I feel like I get a bigger picture or a bigger point of view where I can be like, okay, so this is what happened the last time. What is it that I can do better now that I've accepted everything and I'm ready to move forward? Falling apart is another chance to build again, and building again is not a bad thing. You're not a loser or an idiot. You're not dumb, because you failed. Failure is a great thing for you. Failure is the best thing for you. And besides, it's not failure. It's you've only failed if you've never tried. I'm pretty sure you've heard that a lot from motivational speakers. But you've never failed. You never failed unless you never tried. Wait, no, you've only failed unless you've never tried. Okay, now I lost it. I don't know, but I think you get the point. So if everything is falling apart and it's out of your control, let it. Because then you're just going to be wasting your energy on trying to hold up something that it's out of your capability or your strength. So just let it. It's okay to let it. Be patient with yourself. It's not the end of the world. Okay? It's not the end of the world. And if you feel like, if this happens, then it's going to slow you down, then you probably kind of comparing yourself, because you're only in this alone. So slowing you down according to what? According to whose time? Because if you actually get your head out of society and you focus on your own self, you'd realize that you've got more than enough time to do what it is that you want to do. And the only thing that can stop you, my friend, is death. And that is something that we don't know when it's going to happen or how. But for the meantime, we're going to do the best that we can. We're going to do the best that we can. We can't be afraid of dying. It's not in our control. The least you can do about it is pray. The least you could do about it is pray. But for now, ask for wisdom. Ask for wisdom in the middle of your meltdown, in the middle of your breakdown, in the middle of the falling apart. Ask for wisdom. That's the best thing you can ever do for yourself. Ask God for wisdom, or whoever it is that you pray to. Ask for wisdom on what is it that I'm supposed to do in this darkness, in this midst of whatever it is that I'm in, because I know for sure that I cannot do it alone. I know for sure that I cannot do it according to my own capability or according to my own strength. So yeah, this whole existential, whatever it is, crisis is taking a toll on me, but I've learned to be patient with myself, because I feel like I've gone through worse, and the best thing I've ever done for myself through those worst times was wait and be patient with myself and nurture myself, because when I put myself first in all them hard situations, then I just get a stronger point of view and a stronger mental health and emotional stability. So I just feel like the point of this podcast is to tell you that you might not be going through what crisis, but you might be going through the hardest time of your life. And I'm not going to give you advice on how to get out of it or how to get back on track. But the advice that I'm going to give you right now is to be patient with yourself. Let it happen. It is okay to be there. It is okay to be at the bottom. It is okay to give yourself the time to let it all out. Cry. It cleans your soul. So cry. Let it all out. And yeah, that is it. Thank you for listening to my podcast, and I wish you a good one and a happy new year, guys. Let's go into 2022 with a fresh start. So whatever it is that you feel like you should let out right now from 2021, because it has been a tough year, let it out. Let it all out. We don't want to be carrying 2021 baggage into 2022. We don't want to do that. Let it all out. Be patient with yourself. And yeah, I'm not saying from January the 1st then you should be completely healed. No, I'm just saying you've got now and like a few hours left for you to figure out what it is that you should sort out with yourself. And maybe 2022 will be a journey of healing and being patient with yourself and nurturing yourself. So yeah, thank you guys for listening.